So, hello everyone. Welcome back to Zara's Calm. I am Anne, bringing you part 2 of the mini trip around the world using our ugly, scrappy, outdated fabric. I don't believe there's a such thing as ugly fabric, though. It may be hard to place. And I went in my stash. I found this fabric that I felt was hard to place. Some people may say that it's ugly, and I sorted it out into light, medium, and dark. We cut these strips. In part 1, you can get the exact measurements. I made the strips and sewed them together into this block here, going from light, medium, and dark. And I put 4 of them together, and I laid them out into rows because I want to do quilt as you go, and I want to quilt this into rows. Once I got my row together, I put on my batting. I'm using the temporary adhesive spray, and I'm just right now, and I'm right in this video, I am auditioning the backing for the fabric, and I'm finding in my scraps. I'm encouraging everyone to use your stash. In my stash, I have um, flannel, and I'm auditioning this piece here. Now, once I find a wide enough piece, I'm going to piece everything together, as you can see here, and I'm going to lay this out. The back of your fabric should be a little bit wider than the batting and the top of your quilt. Once I get that in and secured, I'm going to go ahead and mark my quilting lines. I'm just using a water, what is this, a regular water soluble marker from the kids markers that you can get from Crayola, and I'm just lightly quilting the quilt. I just want to lightly quilt it, and you can see the wonderful designs I get with the fabrics. There's a ghost right there. If you look, there's some ghost in there. This was such enjoyable to use all of my outdated fabric, my scraps of fabric. I don't believe in such thing as ugly fabric, but I put that in there. So, and I'm just going to go through here and look through the quilt to make sure. This is a time to make sure that you didn't skip any stitches. And then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew on that line. And I'm doing light quilting. The lighter you quilt your quilt, to me, the more warmer it stays. When we're quilting, heavily quilting, stitching on the top, stitching the 3 layers together, you compact the batting. So once you do that, once I did that, I'm gonna go ahead and line these up and see where I want them and take a picture of it, and then I'm going to square each block up. Now, I was going to try to do block by block quilt as you go. I did not do that. I went on and went with sewed 4 panels together, and then did the quilt as you go, as I'm doing now. So I took a row, which is a row, as you can see, you saw laying out there, and I took a 2-inch strip and folded in half. So I put the rows together carefully, lining up the seam allowances, and then I'm adding this 2-inch strip that is folded together. The raw edge is on the edge, and the folded area is there. And I'm just checking to make sure that I don't have any skip stitches or anything. Now that piece right there, which is a 2-inch strip folded in half, it's going to cover up the raw edges of that seam. And this is a row that we're doing the quilt as you go. And this is how we attach 2 rows together. So this is how it's looking. You can see my seams are lining up well. I don't have any gaps in there. I sewed everything up together. It's looking nice. So this attached 2 rows together. This is part of the quilt as you go. Now, once I do that, I'm going to fold that strip over right there, that 2-inch strip, and I'm going to sew it down. That 2-inch strip, it serves the purpose of covering up the raw edge that that happened when we sewed 2 rows together. I'm using scraps of everything. I love a scrappy quilt. I love the way it reminds me of, um, it just tells me that anything can become beautiful. With your fabric, nothing is left out, everything is used and is purposeful. This is how the seam is looking. Once I've sewn all the rows together, you can see everything is laying flat, it's looking good. And then it's going to be time to put on the binding. Look how wonderful all of these ugly quilts, all of these outdated fabric look. So this step right here, you do not have to use this machine right here. Your I forget the name of this machine. You don't have to use this machine. You can use a regular sewing machine. I don't know what possessed me in my mind to try to use the overlock machine. You do not have to use it, but I don't know. I thought it would be more. It would keep, because this is for a utility quilt for a man, and I figured I wanted it to really, hold the time to go through the test of time. But you do not have to do this. So what I'm doing, I have a 3-inch square. I folded in half, and I'm folding each side to make a point, which this is called a prairie point, as you can see. And I'm sewing on that binding also. Once I get those on, I'm going to fold over the binding and secure it down with the sewing machine. And I got to tell you, this prairie corner binding situation turned out very, very nicely. So this is just how you do your regular binding. When you make your binding, if you want to do the prairie corners, you can do the same thing. Take a 3-inch square, fold it down to make that point, and then sew it in as you're doing your binding. This is how the quilt is looking. I love it. It's wonderful. You can see ghosts in there. You can see pumpkins and bunny rabbits and Christmas trees and fall colors and polka dots. And that's what I'm saying. Use your ugly fabric, use your outdated fabric, whatever fabric that you do have. Make some prairie points and enjoy making this mini trip around the world using your stash. Use what you have. And this is how this side of the quilt turned out. This is how the whole quilt turned out. Now, when we look at it far away, you can't tell that there are Christmas fabrics or Halloween fabrics in there, right? So we started with this block. This is how the back of the quilt is looking. This is the quilt finished with the prairie corners, and I love it. I hope you take some time and go through your stash at home. Pick out your fabric from light to dark and make a trip around the world, a mini trip around the world. This is part 2. I do have a part 1 that goes more into detail, and I would love to hear your comments of what you think about it. If you've tried it, if you have any problems with it, just leave me a comment. So, thanks for watching, everyone. This is Omzar's Calm. I am Ann. I really enjoyed making this quilt. I did take it to the beach. I usually take my quilts to some body of water. I don't know. I always take it and I sit there with it, and I think about the process of how I went about making it, right? And it's just so calming to be near a body of water. I spent the day at the beach. I got there very early. I was the first one Me and this little, I guess it's a seagull, some type of bird that lives near the, and he loved the quilt. He thought it was edible. And it was just so nice to step back and to watch him pick at this quilt. He really, it really excited him. He was like, "What's going on here?" Like, I'm sure there's worms or some type of edible bug that I can eat from this quilt. And it was just a nice time to sit out here. And later on, my brother met me at the beach, and I exchanged the quilt and gave it to him. And since then, I understand that he is enjoying it. So, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Anne with Umzar's Calm. Stay tuned for more videos. And go back and watch part 1. Bye bye for now.